My name is Bruce Brien. I'm going to be hosting today, and we are here to talk about the CMO challenge, proving ROI, but also preparing for AI. I'm going to dive right in and want to first bring up the point that the rules of the game are kind of changing on us. And what we're looking at now is a board that's coming at marketing with this idea that, hey, we're still looking for proof of ROI. And as marketers, we're still coming back with, well, it's complicated. The systems, the environments we're dealing in are complicated. But now in 2026, the board's coming back with, we'll just use AI. And the problem is, it's still complicated. And there's a core tension here that we have to understand. The AI opportunity is real, and the board and the leadership of your companies are seeing this everywhere. There's an opportunity for true ROI optimization, data-informed accuracy in decisions, better and faster decisions, all can be fueled by AI. The problem is that there's a data gap, and that's the real blocker. Without a clear line from budgeting to planning to spending and performance, ROI continues to be unprovable. And AI has nothing trustworthy to act on. It doesn't have the digital thread that connects it all together from which it needs in order to be able to act. So we like to say without IA, there's nothing for marketing to build on. IA meaning your information architecture, and it's IA before AI. Finance has an ERP system, for example. Sales has a CRM system. HR has its HRMS system. Unfortunately, marketing has a patchwork of point solutions all cobbled together that were never designed to work together. We are immediately siloed by these solution decisions that we've been making over the years, and we lack that connective tissue. So we have two crises, but we only have one root cause. Our inability to prove ROI is intrinsically tied to our inability to deploy AI effectively. The unconnected marketing investment data is that gap. So let's take a look and explore that a little bit further. To get to ROI, and consequently to get to I have four data streams that have to be connected together. Now, let me explain those four data streams in as layman terms as possible. If we think about our blue box from a planning perspective, that's the column we're in, and a go-to-market perspective, my blue box is about campaign and program plans. This is where we're answering a very simple question. What are we going to do? If we move across, we're still on go-to-market, but now we're in the actuals column. On the actual side, campaign and program performance is going to answer the question, what did we do? And subsequently, what was the impact? So that's kind of a two-part question, but it's still simple, layman's terms. That's what we're doing on that side. If we come back over to the planning side, but drop down to the finance row, that's where we're going to find our marketing budgets, and we're going to answer the question, how are we going to pay for it? So what is our intention in terms of being able to pay for the campaign and program plans up above? And then finally, as we move to the actuals column for finance, that's where we're going to manage our marketing spend. So that's going to answer the question, what did we pay for it? And that gets a two-part question as well, and how much is left? So what resources do I have that I could redeploy in another planning cycle within the current quarter, year, whatever I'm measuring? Now, the problem lies in the four connection points between these that are all broken. So, as we sit in this siloed environment where the campaign programs and plans are primarily in spreadsheets and PowerPoint decks, and the campaign and program performance is coming in from 20 different performance systems, maybe that's in a data lake, maybe not. Marketing budgets are coming in handed down from finance as typically as a spreadsheet, not in a format that marketing can use. And then marketing spend is coming back in from an ERP system, telling us this is where we're at and what we spent. And again, it's not necessarily aligned to the budgets, the plans, or the performance. That means that we're making our decisions on stale data. It's difficult to defend the spend we've made to the board. AI initiatives are going to stall and fail because this stuff's all disconnected. Working through spreadsheets is going to take time away from being able to optimize what's happening. And course correcting in flight, everything we're doing here is a quarter behind. So it puts us really behind the eight ball in terms of trying to make those types of changes. So we have a real disconnect between budget and plan in that it's difficult to see from a planning perspective how that's getting paid for. We have a budget to spend drift in that the budgets came down from one side and the spend is coming in from the ERP system. So those are not always lined up. And then the budget to performance attribution requires that all the other connections are in place. This results in a systemic latency that is going to kill your ability to take action against real market dynamics as they occur. So, what does AI ready really mean, and how does that contribute to ROI? Well, one thing we know is that AI doesn't improve bad data, it amplifies it. So, before you commit to AI driven optimization, you've got to get your investment data and your planning data properly aligned. And that means we need to connect these things together so they can't be sitting in isolated silos. We need to ensure that they're all current so that this information is getting updated on a regular basis, that they're governed. And by governed, I mean that whatever is required is in there. There's no gaps in our data. There's no gaps in our connectivity, and the things that are supposed to be done are being done. And finally, it has to be actionable. And the way we make this data actionable across those four silos is that I have to have proper marketing driven, marketing oriented segmentation across the four data streams so that I can look at each stream either in aggregate or individually, but through the same lenses. That's what's going to make them actionable. The good news is that the requirements for ROI proof and AI readiness are the same. Solving one will solve for both. So this is really what I need to do to my four data streams. And if I do, I end up creating a closed loop that takes us from intelligent planning through flexible budgeting to support that plan, connected to spend management and outwardly to our activation and content creation systems, bringing that performance data back in where we can optimize for our next planning cycle. This continuous loop relies on all four data streams being connected. Once we have that, what becomes possible is I can start using AI for things like signal detection, understanding what's an outlier and what's not. What actions could I potentially take through scenario modeling to see what my options are? That's going to enable in-flight optimization where I can pull money from point A and put it into point B and drive a significant improvement in outcome. So once we start to bring AI into the loop, it's important to understand what does AI do and what do humans do? So AI is going to be able to ingest and reconcile that massive loads of data continuously. It's going to be able to pick up on trends, identify outliers, identify anomalies. It'll be able to model different scenarios and outcomes and provide us with scenarios, with logic and reasoning behind them, with the explanation behind them, so that we can figure out what we want to do next. It'll recommend budget optimization. It'll continuously get better with each cycle. That's all important to understand that what AI is doing is it's acting as your research assistant, combing through and analyzing the data and putting you in a better position to make decisions, but the decisions are still yours. That's what the humans own. You own the prioritization, you own the business context, final decision and approvals, connecting metrics to back to the strategy, setting your goals and guardrails, and any long-term growth priorities. And that can all be fed in so that the AI understands them, but that's coming from you. AI is going to accelerate things, but you still need to be in the loop to make the final decision. So once we have this in place, once we've taken the time to go and connect the four data streams and get them governed and get them actionable, what does that give us? Well, number one, it gives us one source of the truth. Whether I'm looking at it from a finance lens or a marketing lens, I'm looking at the same data and it reconciles seamlessly back and forth so that we can have productive discussions. I can make faster decisions because it's all being done in real time. So as market conditions change, we're able to course correct, we're able to capture opportunities, So that's going to speed up our ability to impact the business. We're going to be in a continuous loop. So that's going to enable us to get smarter with each and every cycle, improving how we perform as we go. And it's going to provide us with contextual ROI. Because we've got the actionable clause back on the previous slide, that's going to enable us to be able to create cohort level analysis of the ROI so we can pinpoint and pivot onto the areas that are underperforming, take corrective action there, and capture the opportunities associated with the higher performing areas. Now let's take a peek at what this could look like. Uh, so here we are on our envisioned decision intelligence cockpit. I'm looking at the command center for the organizational leader. I have others that we're going to look at in a minute, but I'm typically going to start with what looks like a dashboard but behaves a little differently than a dashboard. It's surfacing signals from all of these different KPIs that are configurable that we're going to be tracking. It's surfacing some of those as specific highlights at the top here. And based on what it is surfacing from a highlight perspective, it's selecting the four that need to be brought to the attention of the organizational leader, whether that's the head of strategy and planning, the CMO, the chief of staff. It's that basically that office of the CMO. This is the view for them. Now within that view, what's more important than the dashboard itself is that the AI has also analyzed the signals that are coming through and come up with some recommendations that we might want to follow. Below those recommendations, we'll also see the predicted impact of any decisions we've made so far this cycle. So you're basically getting a tracking dashboard, an opportunities dashboard, and a signals and metrics dashboard all rolled into one so that at that level I can see the things that need my immediate attention. So we're going to look at this first one. So where I want to dive into the detail, my enterprise demand targets are at risk. What am I going to do about that? I'm going to click on the review button and I'm going to get a explanation as to why this surfaced. So I'm going to get the details of the performance of the two sectors that I'm looking at. I'll get the forecasted revenue performance by segment so I can see the bigger picture as to where that comes from. And then I'm going to get the strategic options that it's surfacing. And it's recommending this option B. And I've got an option C at the bottom here about maintaining the current plan. I can collaborate and have multiple people providing comments in here. I can post my own comments. And at some point, I can determine that I agree that taking money away from SMB and putting it into enterprise to try to recover isn't going to get me where I need to. But instead, I should actually cut more out of enterprise and fuel the fast growing SMB segment in order to recover that gap and meet the overall number. Once I'm ready, I click approve and this will become actionable. And by actionable, I'm going to jump down to my department leader and open that recommendation up. They've been approved $82 million in additional channel level allocation. And so they need to understand what they're going to do with it. So now they can see what's been approved by the CMO. They can see the recommended allocation plan. You're going to see a current and forecasted shift by channel, and then the forecasted revenue change by channel that should result from it. I can look at it as a table, I can visualize it, and ultimately in the end, I'm also going to have my model channel response across the different advertising platforms, LinkedIn, partner, intent media, some of the things I might do in virtual events, etc., with a forecasted business impact and a list of next steps that I would need to follow. Again, I can post some comments in here. I can apply that allocation plan, or I can seek to adjust and do something different within that. But as you can see at this next level down, it's actionable. Now, this level, this team leader also gets their own platform where they can see some of the other recommendations that are been approved and ready to roll as well. But ultimately, we want the different layers of the organization working together. We want decisions made at one level to implement workflows and implement plans that can be reached that can reach down into the next level. I want people to be able to accept things and have those update the plans and send out the appropriate signals throughout the organization so that people can act on them quickly and intelligently. Now, we're going to go further than just these dashboards. We're also going to look at um, the normal activities view. We'll have AI-based suggestions right within the tool, right within there as well. So this paid promotion is running below benchmark. The current selected plan has a couple of different allocations that could result in additional pipeline from us, and it'll give us the validation content where that came from with the ability to then create an action plan. It'll give me my decision trail, and I can route this into a workflow to get that activity started. So I'm going to have some ability to look at that. We'll do some basic anomaly detection. So I have 14 items it wants me to review. It's got a severity associated with each, and then the current and suggested. I can apply all the selecteds. I can select specific ones in here and say I just want to apply those. It'll make the changes to the plan, and we'll move on from there. We'll even take it as far as when I go to import a plan. If I've got a structured plan that I'm trying to import, it'll go and map all those rows to the current plan. It'll identify duplicates. This is an event that looks like it's already in. So why would I want to do that a second time? And then I can go in here and accept all the suggestions and then go add 8 rows to my plan. And it'll be, that easy to do those types of things. So we're looking at productivity improvements. We're looking at decision intelligence, recommendations, workflow improvements. These are all things that become capable if I have my data ship in order. So in closing out, you've got to get your data ready. But a little caveat here, trap we don't want you to fall into, is that don't take the shortcut of just sending your data to IT. They're going to place it in a data lake, and now IT is going to tell you how to manage it in an ongoing basis. Data lakes are built for enterprise reporting. They're not built specifically for marketing's needs. They're going to break your workflows. You're going to have another step in the process. You're going to be missing the context because you don't have the link before the data through the 4 data streams because of the way they get captured in the first place. They're not going to put you in a position to get the AI benefits that you're looking for. So what do you need to do? 3 steps that matter the most this year. First, you got to audit those 4 data streams. You've got to identify how you're going to connect them together. You've got to then you unify them before you automate. So make those connections, create that digital thread, that connective tissue that's going to have it all linked together. And at that point, you can then start the optimization loop and start applying AI and seeing what it can tell you and what it sees. Proving ROI is not going to be about who has the most tools. It's going to be about who has the most connected data. That's how you're going to get to victory here. So when you've got it all together, your campaign and program plans and performance and budgets and spend can all be connected together. And that's at the core of the base Uptempo platform. We have workspaces for all 4 data streams, from a campaign planning calendar to real-time performance monitoring to your initial top-down budgets to your bottoms-up spend and reconciliation. But we take that a step further as well because these 4 data streams need to be connected externally, and sometimes they are creating data that needs to be pushed out to these streams. So from planning, we're going to send campaign data to work management, to CRM systems, and get those activities launched. Budgeting, we're probably going to pull data in from your EPM platform so that we have the top-down budget information. We're going to, from a spend management perspective, we're going to be working with your POs and your actuals and your ERP systems to make sure that that data is all in sync. And then finally, from a performance optimization standpoint, we'll be feeding data out to your data lake, but it's going to be connected. And we'll be taking data in from your media and your analytics platforms so that you get a complete picture of everything that's happening with your marketing dollar from the time you start planning what to do with it, to funding it, to reconciling that spend, and optimizing your performance.